The California Teachers Association has become one of the most influential special interest groups in California politics. But more and more teachers are leaving the union. One former teacher explains why.
Over 15% of teachers have left the California Teachers Association in recent years. It's predicted that 4,000 more will leave this year alone. Rebecca Friedrichs, a former teacher and local union leader, explains to California Insider's Siamak Karami the reason for the exodus.
The unions have lost their way. So they have a mission, but they're not staying in their lane. So teachers are seeing that they're not being represented, their values aren't being represented by the unions anymore, and that's why they're walking away.
Friedrich says the teachers' union has been involved in too many political agendas instead of prioritizing children first.
They're involved in all of this critical race theory, and they're involved in the whole transgender, telling teachers, you can't call them boys and girls anymore. Maybe they're all transgenders, and really putting teachers in a very uncomfortable position where they're told, they have to, if a child wants to use a different pronoun, a child wants to change their gender, the teacher is told, you have to do that with the child behind the parent's back.
She says a good professional teacher would work and communicate with the parents to do what's best for the child.
There's something I call the education triangle, and in that triangle is the child at the top, and then the other two angles are the parent and the teacher. And if we work together in the education triangle, the child's going to learn well, the child's going to be healthy, the child's not going to be suicidal or all these other problems.
When she served as a local union leader for 3 years, she said they were all wonderful people and wanted to do what was right for the children. But later she found out that elements of politics made its way in from the state and federal level. She said that if they did try voicing their opinion, they were bullied.
This teacher raised her hand and she said, as a representative of the teachers in my district, I've been asked to ask you, why is so much of our money being spent on politics? We don't want our money spent that way. How can we get a voice? And the union leaders on the stage immediately bullied her. The way they stood, there were other bullies in the room that came around this woman and just kind of stared her down. And I can't remember the words they said, but I remember the reaction. All 300 of us were dead silent, and beaten down, kind of like everyone was afraid to say anything. I confess I didn't get up and go rescue that teacher who was she literally withered in her chair.
According to Friedrichs, in the past, all teachers were required to pay union dues as a condition for employment. Because people thought it was unconstitutional, there were several lawsuits. She also filed a lawsuit in 2016, which eventually led to the end of forced union contributions from non-union members. But the effects of the union's decisions aren't without consequences.
The system's so corrupted and so full of accusations that these poor teachers, most of the teachers I know have or are close to having PTSD from the job because discipline's out of control thanks to policies that were pushed by teacher unions, and teachers are constantly being accused, and so they're just afraid.
Friedrichs founded an organization called For Kids and Country with a mission to, quote, restore our educational system to the excellence, morality, and patriotism envisioned by our American founders. Eileen Ang, NTD News, California.
To watch the full program, find California Insider on YouTube or Epic TV on the Epic Times website. Researchers at 2 prestigious universities have claimed to have found a cost-effective way to remove the harmful forever chemicals from our water sources. NTD News spoke with an expert regarding these chemicals.
Forever chemicals, known by their scientific name as per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or simply as PFAS, are found in nearly the entire Earth's water supply and can last thousands of years. Riggs Eckelberry, founder and CEO of Origin Clear, is focusing his work on not only removing PFAS from water, but also working to decentralize how water is provided to Americans.
Forever chemicals are chemicals that have been largely taken out of circulation. Things like the stuff that's Teflon, various polymers, plastics that are indestructible. Now, we've largely gotten rid of them, but they're still circulating.
According to a statement from the University of California, Los Angeles, over the past 70 years, PFAS have contaminated virtually every drop of water on the planet, and their strong carbon-fluorine bond allows them to pass through most water treatment systems completely unharmed. They also said that certain cancers and thyroid diseases have been associated with PFAS. Eckelberry warned about the dangers of these forever chemicals.
People should avoid forever chemicals. These are harmful. They accumulate in the body. So your body, just like lead and everything else, it stays in your body, and over time it is harmful. But people should avoid it.
Chemists at UCLA and Northwestern University reportedly developed a cheap and effective solution to break down PFAS. The result is carbon dioxide, formic acid, and fluoride as byproducts in the water solution. But Eckelberry warns of fluoride in our water systems.
My understanding on fluoride, and again, I'm not a public health person, but my understanding is that over time, fluoride in the water system can add up in people's bodies. It keeps adding up. It doesn't really go away. And my understanding is that there are, negative effects from fluoride in the water.
He listed 2 other ways that PFAS can be effectively removed from water.
The first way is to just get them absorbed, for example, into activated carbon, and that activated carbon goes into a landfill. The second way is to incinerate it, which that's okay.
But Eckelberry said the problem doesn't lie in how PFAS are removed, but how the system purifies its water. He hopes to decentralize the water purification process by encouraging businesses to purify their own water at a low cost rather than rely on the government to do so.
We wanted to change the way things are done. What we're doing now is we're helping to transform the water industry by creating something called water as a service, so that businesses can simply sign a piece of paper and they get their water system and they can treat it.
He says with the current centralized model, lower-income communities often pay higher prices for water in big cities due to their distance from water sources. Eckelberry added that existing water purity standards have not kept up with scientific developments. He recommended that people who are concerned about water purity can look up information by zip code through the Environmental Working Group's website at ewg.org. Daniel Hall, NTD News, California.
California adopted a $0 bail during COVID lockdowns, but now one senator is looking to make a version of it permanent. A bill recently brought back from the dead plans to set the new bail requirements.
Senator Hertzberg proposed Senate Bill 262, a bill that would significantly reduce the cost of bail. This comes after voters rejected a similar zero bail bill in 2020. SB 262 bill was previously pulled after a violent murder of a Sacramento resident. The perpetrator was out on bail, resulting in significant opposition against the bill. The resident's brother, Dan Tibbetts, has taken vocal opposition to the bill. He says part of the bill removes incentives for bail agents to perform their jobs. In a statement to CBS, Tibbetts said bail agents, quote, have a financial stake in that person not skipping town and not committing crimes. So they're watching these people like a hawk. But in the new bill, bail agents would only be collecting a 10% surcharge as opposed to the entire sum of money. Without those financial incentives, bail agents may not have as much interest and vigilance in performing their job.
Vendors and guests gathered at a Labor Day weekend festival in the Bay Area. It was the 51st annual Millbrae Art and Wine Festival. NTD's David Lamb speaks to some of the attendees and the local band.
This is the annual Art and Wine Festival in Millbrae. Let's hear what festival attendees and vendors have to say.
Each year, the unofficial last weekend of summer brings enormous crowds to downtown Millbrae in the Bay Area for Labor Day weekend. An artist and her husband launched Art for Elephants 7 years ago, and they travel around the world.
A lot of artists do elephants. They end up in everything, motifs, shower curtains, cell phone covers, but they're generic, a species. I am a portrait artist, so these are actual elephants and chimps, other animals too, because I really want to tell the story of that animal. I want people to see them as individuals. A lot of these elephants come from terrible situations. They've been exploited for riding, tourism, zoos and circuses, and we are working to get them into appropriate sanctuaries or re-released to the wild. And I think if humans could look at them as individuals, it will help us save the species.
Her husband takes the photos that Rudder then draws.
So what goes through your mind while you're drawing?
When I draw a subject, whether it be a chimpanzee or an elephant or anything, I really want to tell the story and get to the truth of that animal. So I don't want to just make it look pretty or make it look cute. I want the story of their life with their exploitation, their humor, their rescue in the face and in the eyes. And I really want people to look at them and feel that from those animals.
In addition to one-of-a-kind handcraft work and food from nearly 300 vendors, people enjoyed live music.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That music is not just something that you play, something that people hear. Music is a service. Music is for others and not for you. Music can heal, music can inspire, and music can empower.
This group consists of 6 band members, and they were humbled with the turnout.
We did not expect that many people to be out there. Like all the tables filled. Like we thought like only like a few like of our friends, family members would be out there.
It's really, really nice to see that people are like supporting us and our band.
We are Unparalleled. Unparalleled's origin started out of a garage at one of the members' parents' houses and grew from there.
But then these people taught me to feel the music. It's not just like counting 1, 2, 3, not like straightforward like math, but to actually flow into it.
The festival also had many small businesses, including an entrepreneur who retired from a tech business and then started Golden State Snacks about 10 years ago. He and his wife thought that folks were interested in healthy eating.
We decided we would start sharing some of the fruits of the Central Valley, nuts and whatnot. So we went to different farms throughout the Central California area and gathered all our base products, pistachios, nuts, dried fruits, and so forth. We started at farmers markets.
I got some good stuff here. Yeah. Got some good food, got fun games and stuff. So yeah, I think we're having a good time.
One child had a cartoon portrait of himself drawn.
Were you nervous?
A little bit.
Enjoy it, celebrate it. It means a lot to a lot of people. You know, labor made this country what it is, so remember those people before you.
The Millbrae Festival happens each year before Labor Day and segues into the autumn season. David Lamb, NTD News, California.